Oh, we were back. Now we're back again. Meta Rules TV, where the underground meets the playground.
That's right. Who the fuck are you?
I'm your new host. Fuck these two douche nozzles.
We're cockfaces.
Cockheads.
These fucking cock
We
nozzles.
slurpy dong.
Slurpy dong.
This is now the Jeremy Show. Go fuck yourselves.
Jeremy's calling.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. You know, actually, Meta Rules started.
At a Pearl Jam concert?
No, our second issue. Yeah. Jeremy Pellegrin was my editor for many years.
He spoke in class today.
Yeah.
Jeremy from the Neshaminy Creek Brewing.
Jeff Rapport.
Matt Givons.
First, in all kidding aside, I'd like to dedicate this to memory of Clive Burr, who passed away a couple of days ago.
Bedhead.
I wrote this on my Facebook page, but if you didn't see it, but true story about Clive Burr. First of all, we have him hanging in my living room. I don't think Maria's not going to move it over here, but he is hanging right here. You guys see it?
Well, I noticed it when we were sitting. When we first sat down.
In your mom's basement.
I was like, yeah, that's the original Maiden lineup.
Yeah. We have it here in your mom's basement, wherever he says we are.
Yeah. So, true story, and my wife can verify for it, and also my daughter's mother, who's not here, but she can also verify it, that when I was picking baby names, I wanted, if my daughter was a boy, I wanted to name her Clive. After Clive Burr, because I also thought that was like the coolest name. Like, who the fuck do you know named Clive?
No one
in America. And I remember having a tremendous fight with her mother, and she was just like, that's a fucking terrible name. I'm not naming my child Clive.
It's better than the recent rash of babies named after Tegan. Like Tegan and Sarah type shit.
Right.
I don't know what, and I don't mean to diss my boy Colin because he named his baby girl Tegan, but like, it's like, you know, it's sort of like you see that happen when like bands get popular. Like, oh,
yeah,
my kid this.
So then when David was born, we had, like, before David was born, we had the same argument, like with Maria, who was sitting behind the camera. I was like, we should name him Clive, and she's like, that's what she did. She started sneezing.
And then she punched you.
What did you say when I said let's name the baby Clive?
Awful name.
Yeah.
I wonder if Clive Owen would be happy for you to say.
So we went with David.
That dude's kind of
Clive
badass. Yeah, there you go.
So we went with David Lee. So it's like David Lee Rappaport, named after David Lee Roth, because it sounded nice together. It sounded better than Clive. But just a thought that how much that Clive means to me, that he hangs in my living room, and that I wanted to name my children after him. That's how much this saddens me to hear that he passed away.
I mean, anytime a notable musician dies, it sucks. Especially one that obviously had the one thing that sucks about Clive, and it doesn't suck about him. It's just the unfortunate nature of the fact that the band has had so much more success since he's left the band. So he's sort of like the forgotten member. So
well, I mean, he was the number of the beast.
Well, no, but I mean, like, obviously the band.
Which I believe is 666.
Yeah.
And the number of the feast is 669. Yeah. No, but I mean, like, the band has obviously seen the majority of his success since he's left the band.
Right.
So like
when Bruce came in, they got much more successful.
Yeah.
Right. So at least he was there for one of the albums, which was their big one as far as a lot of people are concerned. Anyways, the story we're talking about though is Iron Maiden they're making beer.
Yeah.
And who better to talk about beer than our...
What the fuck does this band not do, to be honest? I mean, homeboy fucking flies jets because he's got not just a pilot license, a jetliner license.
He's got a commercial license.
He's got a commercial license.
Right.
Which is not an easy thing to get, man.
No.
I got a buddy I was in a band with who has been working on his just regular pilot's license for the past year, and he was like, I was actually hanging out with him a few months ago, and he was telling me how hard it is just to get a regular little pilot's license, and I can't imagine what Bruce had to do to get a commercial pilot's license, which is pretty crazy.
Well, the thing about Bruce Dickinson is I have to admit I got a man crush on Bruce Dickinson because he's
hard not to.
He's a man that gets shit done.
Right.
That's what it is.
And he is actually good looking.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
He's not an ugly guy.
No.
I give him the old brown balloon knot. That's all I'm saying.
I'd let him take one for the team, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I mean, he is a guy that gets shit done. He joins Maiden. Maiden blows up.
Right.
I mean, whatever he does, he's 110%, 110% of the time.
Right. He's fucking amazing.
He is.
So that's why I'm thinking, I'm jumping ahead because, I'm not a beer maker, but I'm assuming that because he's involved, this beer is going to be incredible.
Well, the one thing I'm actually really, really stoked about, and I'm going to get kind of beer geeky here for a minute, is that the cool thing about the beer, and I have a feeling that a lot of American fans may not like the beer.
Because they suck.
No,
It doesn't taste like Coors Light. It sucks.
what it is, and if you watch the trailer for it, you have to know, you have to kind of pay attention a little bit more to beer and to know what real ale is. And real ale, what is considered real ale is like cask conditioned, usually like lower carbonated, like British styles of beer, like pale ale is considered originally a real ale style. Porter actually was a real ale style, and what it usually is it's lower carbonated, served via hand pump or via gravity pours, and usually not usually at room temperature. That's what real ale is.
Okay.
And there really isn't a whole lot of real ale left in the UK because of the way that very similar to the way the consolidation of breweries has occurred here in the United States as well as in other countries like Germany, where breweries are really consolidating into larger brewery type groups. It's even slightly worse and different in the UK, whereas not only were larger breweries consolidating, but they were taking over pubs. So you would go into a pub and that would be like a draft house for a specific brewery, and you could only get those those brands or those styles from that brewery in that draft house. And over time, real ale has really been disappearing in the UK, and there's it's called the campaign for I'm gonna totally screw this up, but I should know it. It's the campaign for real ale in the UK, but it's a group that's basically going out and really tried to revive not necessarily revive, but keep alive real ale in the UK, and there isn't really a whole lot of places that still do real ale type beers. Whether So
is Maiden doing this or what?
Maiden is doing this. That's exactly.
I think, yeah.
Actually, Robinson does at least. That's what the trailer talks about. Bruce talks about in the trailer at Robinson that we're making a real ale. So whether it's in cask or whether it's in bottle, they're making a real ale. I mean, I don't know specifically. It looks more like it's gonna be like a British style pale ale,
right?
Or what Yards calls a pugilist type ale, which is sort of like a brawler, somewhere in between a brown ale and a pale ale type thing. But it's usually a little bit more of a malt forward type ale, low in carbonation, but highly drinkable. Usually what a lot of people call session ales, or session beers, which would be lower in alcohol. Not what we're drinking right now.
Right.
Something that you could go into a pub and pound back 3, 4, 5, 6 of them.
Right.
And not go home completely shit faced. But usually served on a hand pump or gravity feed from a cask. In cask condition too. That's the other part of it. Real ales are usually cask conditioned, which means they're naturally carbonated in the keg, or a better way, in the British term would be in the firkin, in the cask.
You fucking idiot.
I was freaking off before I came here.
Exactly.
And,
and so they're usually naturally carbonated in the firkin,
it.
not forced carbonated like most beers these days. Actually, our Belgian
carbonate, motherfucker.
Our Belgian triple in the bottles is actually naturally carbonated, and we do some firkins of some other styles, but. Yeah, I mean, if it is a real ale, which I have no reason to believe that Bruce Dickinson would go on, and make a trailer about making a beer called Trooper Ale, and say it's going to be real, and then not make a real ale. Especially when they're going to Robinson's isn't a small brewery, but it's not a huge brewery. It's not like it's Fuller's. It's not like a mega. Well, it's a good sized brewery, but they're still not massively huge.
So I was right in my assumption that Bruce is going to create a great.
He's not going to phone it in. Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be a real good beer. I mean, dude doesn't fuck around, man.
Yeah.
He just doesn't,
They don't do things half-assed.
No, they don't. And I mean, not even going beyond that, the fact that, these dudes are obviously British as shit, and the dude, knows enough about ale or beer in general to talk about real ale, and expect people to know what he's talking about, because I guarantee you 99% of Americans don't know what real ale is. And I guarantee most of their fans don't know what real ale is. But not only that, when it's one of those things where if he's going to talk about it, they're going to do it right. Not even that. Think about everything that Maiden does. It's always top quality.
Right. Always.
Look at their merch. Look at their music. Well, look at their music. Look at the merch. Look at All right, we're gonna play 7 shows around the world. I'm gonna fly us to every show, and then we're gonna make a fucking DVD about it. And then we're gonna. That's the band. That's the way that band is. That's the way Bruce Dickinson is. I mean, I've heard he's can be a pain in the ass to work with.
He did bring his daughter to the slaughter.
Dude, speaking of which, have you seen the band that all their daughters playing?
No.
What the fuck is the name of that band?
All of their daughters playing?
Like, so, I don't know if it's all of it, but I know like the bass player's daughter and like a bunch of like.
I know Lauren Harris has her own group.
Yeah.
And then Bruce Dickinson's son has a band.
I know that like Steve Harris's daughter is like, and like a couple of other members of. Maybe it's not necessarily Maiden. I'm totally butchering this because I obviously don't follow it up, except for the fact that I know that it's all smoking hot chicks.
Yeah, Lauren Harris is a nice looking woman.
They didn't I'm almost positive they opened for Maiden on a tour not too long ago.
Really?
Quote me on that.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I didn't see it.
I do know that when we go see, I don't know if Matt knows this, but when we're going to see Soulfly tomorrow, and we're going to interview Max Cavalera, the opening bands that he brought with him on tour are his stepson's band and his son's band.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
It's actually the Maximum Cavalera tour.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
So it's all Cavaleras. And Gloria's going to be there.
Cavalera Conspiracy?
So it's going to be pretty damn cool.
That sounds cool.
His son Igor is in a band, and his stepson Richie, I think his name is.
I don't know.
I think it is. Is going to be in a band as well.
Fella.
So yeah. So I think we're all behind the Iron Maiden beer. Cheers to the Iron Maiden beer.
Definitely.
Definitely gonna try it.
Drink the shit out of it.